Welcome to Freelance Sucks. Here we discuss the dark side of freelancing, about which nobody usually talks out loud. And we speak with experienced freelancers in this show, and listening to their stories helps you prepare for freelancers' challenges. And today, my guest is Manuel Rubio. So, Manuel is a polyglot developer, freelancer with a great experience, and he even wrote 6 books about programming languages. So, hello, Manuel.
Hello.
So, the easiest question. What is the hardest part for you of being a freelancer?
I think the time management is the hardest part.
How do you deal with it?
I try to do it because I recall that I was talking with another freelance that I was talking with him because we were to work together in a project. And when we was in the first meeting, he said, well, we were with other people talking, and he told me in the chat, we can talk together later. So I was talking with him about, but he told me, but you are saying that you are pointing or you are writing down your task in a paper sheet. I said, yeah, I have papers here about what I have to do. But you are not measuring the task. You are not measuring what are you doing or what you did or what are you have to do. I say, well, I have papers, but I said, but no. So he was like a mentor and giving me some advice about how to use some tools like Asana, Trello, and other stuff to get more organized. And I was very thankful for my colleague at that moment because he made a big effort to get me in the good path of time management. And yeah, well, the typical way to proceed these days for me is like well, if it's not in the end of the day, in the early in the morning when getting up and getting my coffee, my first coffee. I go into the task I have in the time management administration, and I'm choosing about those tasks that have a deadline very close. I put it in the priority part of the time management, something like, well, I have to do this for today. And then if I think I could have a bit more of bandwidth, I could choose other task that is not in the deadline, but could be nice to have. Only even if that is motivating to me a bit more because I know, well, if I pass with those tasks, maybe I could get this that is motivating to me a lot. No, so I have something that is very motivational for me at the end of the day, and is like. Well, because I have children, it's like if you promise to the child the piece of chocolate when he or she ends the meal.
And how this time management challenge impacts your family life?
Well, it's when I was with the piece of paper, I realized that well, if I was not aware because in a piece of paper you cannot move things. Those are writing down and in that order. So when you realize, oh, I write something that is very important, but in the other part of the paper I was not aware. So there is one person that is upset because you didn't realize you was not working the priority part, and you are spending a lot of time during the day. Maybe you have to spend even more hours that you were anticipating. You are run out of time all the days, working more than 8 hours per day, even trying to up to date or get updated in the during the weekend. So it's a mess. So when you are with it's not needed to get the finest time management, but only to figure out what is the important part, what is your speed of of work to complete the task you are proposing to do in the day, and even during the week. Getting the more control about I'm going to work on this in this day, but in those tasks during the week. So you are approaching the time, better control of your time about you put the priorities in the beginning. You are getting the what is needed to be done in the now or the first in the week. So it was happening that sometimes I have even the time in the Fridays or Mondays mainly, because Fridays is plenty of meetings usually. But I was realizing that sometimes in some days I have time enough even to dedicate to write. So that is the trick that I was writing the 6 books and still writing the blog post and other things.
And what is the part of freelancing you don't like the most? Like you have to do it, but you like still procrastinate and do it all the time.
It's I think I was not very good doing things for others, for other people, because I like more doing things for my side projects. So when a client write to me, I say, I have this system that is made in Symfony with PHP and with this. And I was agreeing that, okay, I'm going to help you with the system, with the development, but it's not something that is motivating to me a lot. It's something that, okay, I get it because it's a compromise or it's money that you need at that moment, but it's not something that is motivational. So those kind of tasks that are not in your motivation, that is not moving you to complete it, sometimes it's like, well, I have to do it, but I was not in the mood to do it. Maybe you are moving to the next day. Okay, maybe tomorrow I could complete it. So you are delaying that or procrastinating, like you said. You think, well, maybe this task is more important to do now instead of this other. So the time management is helping me with that, because it's giving you a view of the day. So you see, well, this task is not good, but maybe it's fast to do it. And you have other tasks that are more motivational. So, you can see that the day is not going to be a waste of time for you. No, it's going well. We have different tasks that are not good, but we have others that there are. And but briefly, because I talk a lot, sorry. The idea is there is not all the time task that you love to do. There is something that like my mother told me once, if that is work, work is nasty because they are paying to you for doing it. So have to be nasty, but sometimes when we are freelancing, we are choosing the projects that are more motivational for us. So it's great when you have or you could work in something that is motivational and is paid.
Yeah.
I try to choose those projects, but is the bad part of the freelancing. Sometimes you have not the power to choose. Is you need to get those kind of works, and you have to do it in that moment.
And what do you do if you are working on a project that you are, let's say, not like very much?
I try to do it as fast as possible. And if that is a problem with the motivation, because I don't like to be perceived like, well, this guy is not trust because he's not delivering on time, is not. So if I'm detecting that my motivation is very low, and I'm not delivering my 100% or something very close, I talk with the client and I say, okay, I'm going to work in what we agree, but that is going to be limited in time or in the scope, and that is done. So if I can find another one to continue working on that, it's okay. But if not, I'm leaving the project and being honest with the person. So it's very important that you are very transparent with the person or with the people you are working with.
Yeah.
And if that is not something that is inside of your motivation, because I was working with different companies dedicated to pets. So pets is not something that is attracting to me a lot, or even trading is not something that is liking to me, but because of their challenges, their system needs to be very reliable, scalable, and sometimes they approach me about, okay, we have those challenges, mainly when they have to solve that situation. I was helping, but when that situation is gone, I'm gone. So,
Yeah, I totally understand you. And what is the most nerve-consuming thing you must deal as a freelancer?
talking with people. Yeah, for sure, because most of the times I have to recognize that the person that is hiring our services knows something. They are usually technical. They know how to require that, what is possible, what is not. But we have also the situation that there is other kind of founders that are not technical, and they want to do something. They have not idea how to require it, but they have not the confidence to say, okay, I don't know. So to say, to be honest about, well, I'm running this company, or I'm running this company, but I have no idea how to do it. So you have to talk with them, take a coffee with them, try to make soft skills with them, to try to open and be very close and transparent and honest, to get the real feedback about what they want to do,
Yeah.
and then that you can share, okay, you want to do this, we have to proceed in this way. I was in a project, for example, that I recall that there was a guy from the United States that they want to require in the system for controlling the buildings, the security cams, and he was the CTO, so it's intended that he was a technical guy. Was telling me that he built the system, and he wanted to move to a second version, and he was attending a conference of Elixir, and was approaching that he wanted to get that built in Elixir because it's the future or whatever. So I was required to talk with him about the requirements, the work, but the company I was required for try to solve the issues they have was a second company that was hired by the first one. And I recall that they were working in the project for 3 months or so, and they were not in an agreement. So I was talking with him only 1 hour.
Only one
Was
hour.
in the first part of the conversation was, well, I was building the company from scratch. I was developing the system. When we were talking for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he started, well, I was not very good at developing, so I was hiring someone to developing that in C sharp because. So, and when we were 15 minutes more, it was, well, I have no idea how this is working. So when we were finishing the conversation, was like, okay, you want to do something that is possible to do with the .NET, but not with Elixir. You
Yeah.
realize of this because the limitations, that. So we were honest. Well, my client, that was the intermediary company, um, was not happy with the decision of the client because was finishing that proof of concept and don't hire us anymore. But
Yeah.
he was happy about okay, we waste or spend 3 months doing this. But if that was not progressing in that way, it could be 1 year spending money and not getting what you want or you need to get. So sometimes the most hard part is reaching the client and getting what they need.
Yeah.
Is something that I had to learn a lot how to do it. But finally, I think that is the most important part because it's like someone said, do it the right things right.
Manuel, I wish to have the sky as the limit to our conversation, but time is the limit. So, the final question, if you were starting freelancing today, what is one thing you'd definitely avoid doing?
Oh, hmm. Something. Well, maybe because I was starting in a very arrogant way, thinking that I have a lot of knowledge and I was the best chooser for most of the clients. I think that what I was learning that was harder for me was trying to realize that you have to be honest, closer to the people, and reachable for them, because what you are delivering to the client is the work you agree with the client to be released, but to release that value and to be sure that is the correct value or the most the the amount or of value that is required in that situation, you have to talk a lot with the client. So I think an investment in your education, the soft skills. If even if you realize that talking with people is not something I do very well, I think you have to try to improve that, talking in public, reaching to others, trying to be closer, trying to negotiate, trying to. And well, I was thinking that was innate for the human beings, but not. It's something that you can learn. There are a lot of courses, a lot of trainings, and even a lot of books that you can get to try to improve your social skills, your soft skills, and be more reachable or closer and transparent and honest with the client.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manuel, for sharing your feelings. And it's been such a pleasure to hear your story.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button or 5 stars and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.